Alright, so this is for the final assignment for the history class, and there's been this one connection that I've been making, and I'm using the big old board again because it's a really easy way to visualize it, in my opinion. It's a physical object, and it just helps with visualizing. And I've been thinking about how this one, just browsing on Reddit, I saw in a little bit of a nerdy subreddit about history and stuff, I saw someone that was talking about there was this general, a Japanese general, that was talking about how they didn't believe that victory for the Japanese was possible in any way. That they saw it as completely impossible. And I was like, oh, well, that's kind of interesting. They were generally taught, imperialist ways, and kind of looked into as to why. And well, I guess it's because he believed that logistics and morale is what wins wars. And he kind of proved this, or used this to prove a point, in the fact that the United States had so many, these are little transport boats, had so many just logistics. Their logistics was so powerful. They had so many boats dedicated to carrying materials and concrete, just for building whenever they would take the islands from the Japanese. They had so many boats that were just dedicated to constructing airstrips and bunkers that they turned two of them into ice cream boats. The US had such a powerful ability to build that they totally scrapped two of their boats just for the enjoyment of their soldiers, just for their soldiers to enjoy some ice cream. And that's the point that Japanese general had made, that the morale and the just pure logistical power of the United States was nowhere near that of Japan. Japan was running out of clothing for their soldiers. They didn't have enough food. They didn't have enough fuel for their planes to make it all the way to their enemy and make a return flight. That's why kamikaze became a thing, because they didn't have enough fuel to fly where they needed to be and to make it back. And I thought, oh, well, maybe, logistics and morale, like I was like, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I was just questioning a little bit, like, maybe that's only specific to, well, the Pacific Front. Maybe that was only for the Pacific Front. Then I realized, well, no, actually, we can, there's, in the European side of the board, you can prove that morale and logistics, a little bit more logistics for the European side, between Germany and Russia. When Germany was pushing against Russia into their homeland, once winter hit, because Germany was going so far in and was just destroying Russia, and when Russia was having to defend their homeland, your morale tends to be improved when you're fighting on your home ground, when you're defending the place that you know and love. And so you've got, somewhat decent morale, not as good as it could be. You're in a war after all, but it's better than the people that are pushing against you. And it was winter. So the Germans were having such a difficult time bringing resources up that their logistics was falling apart. They're running out of fuel, they're running out of food. And so guess what happens? They get pushed back. The Germans lost all of the ground they gained, went all the way back to Berlin, just because they couldn't carry fuel or food up to where they needed it to be. And I just find that to be so fascinating as to how important logistics and morale is. And that was something that the US had just succeeded in so well. And yeah, I just love that.